Shall we go on to our final segment?
Yeah, let's do.
My
film is better than your film. Can I just apologise for choosing the Simpsons movie last week, by the way? Because I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
We had a suggestion on YouTube. Apologies, I couldn't remember the name. About doing this segment, the genre of this segment, and it's going to be today. Not childhood films.
Coming of age.
Coming of age films are great. I love it. A great genre.
It's an interesting one, and I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box if you can with this one.
Okay, interesting.
And I don't think it's gonna be a movie that you've seen before.
That's gonna make it difficult.
Yeah,
for me to argue against.
Do you know what film you're going for?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I think I know what film you're going for as well. I'm not gonna say though.
Okay. You are correct. It is Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
There are so many to choose from for this genre. It's a really nice genre. I don't think we get a lot of these films anymore.
Yeah.
I think they were big when we were younger, but not now.
Right, I've got it.
Okay.
I'm very interested to see what you pick.
My film's better than your film, Sean.
Nope. Mine's better than yours. Right. 3, 2, 1.
The Fablemans.
Okay. The Goonies. I thought you were going to pick Stand By Me.
I
thought you were going to pick that.
I thought you were going to pick The Sandlot.
I was going to.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that.
Or I thought you might pick Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I was also contemplating that as well. But
I picked Goonies versus
the Fabelmans.
Now this is
a recent Spielberg.
I haven't seen it.
No,
but Spielberg was heavily involved with the making of the Goonies. He didn't direct it.
No,
but, it was directed by Richard Donner of Lethal Weapon and Superman fame.
Yes. So I want you to start.
Okay.
This time.
Film is an absolute classic.
It's trash.
He loves this film. Everybody loves The Goonies, man. Okay, this is a 1980s film. You have an excellent, for once, I say for once because they can't get a decent child actor in a lot of things these days. You have the perfect, well cast that were specifically sought out by Spielberg and Richard Donner to find the perfect chemistry with a group of friends. It's about a group of friends that go on an amazing adventure that is emotive and emotional. It's adventurous. You've got excitement in it. When you are a kid watching this film, because that's what coming of age films are about, aren't they? They're about the children growing up and experiencing life lessons, but also having the time of their lives and an adventure. You want to be those kids, don't you? You want to be those characters.
How
the villains that you have in there are well crafted. The imagination of this kind of Free Willy's treasure is great. It's everything that kids pretend to do. Like I pretended to be these kids. I pretended to be growing up and finding treasure and
doing the truffle shuffle.
Yeah. All right, you're blooming sloth, mate. I don't know about you, sloth. Yeah. I think maybe that section of the film with sloth didn't age the best, but I still think that it gives you some fantastic moral life lessons as a kid.
So what's the coming of age?
So the coming of age, it's about that kind of last adventure of childhood, isn't it? It's about the imagination
before you grow up.
And it's the backdrop to this film is that the entire estate is getting kind of destroyed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's getting
their childhood home.
Yeah, and their childhood home is getting destroyed. And whilst they kind of stop that in the process, they know, or the main character played by Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings, he knows and he has this realization that he's losing his friends around him. And it's about learning to cope with that in the world. And he's got an older brother as well, hasn't he? It's about them going their separate ways, but Goonies never say die. That's their motto.
Yeah.
And I think it's that last kind of hurrah or experience that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different kind of coming of age story, but because yours is autobiographical.
Mm.
This one is completely fiction.
Yeah.
But it's about capturing the imagination of childhood that I don't think exists anymore.
It's interesting. Yeah. No, definitely. I think The Fablemans is better coming of age story than The Goonies. Well, it's first of all, it's a semi autobiographical film based on the childhood upbringing of the most famous director of all time, Steven Spielberg.
I haven't seen it, but I have heard that as a film or as one of his films, it was nominated. Did it win the Oscar?
No,
it was nominated though, wasn't it?
I believe so.
But I've heard that whilst it's interesting and autobiographical, there's nothing really there that's exciting that captures.
Hang on a minute. I don't know.
Go.
So yeah, it's semi-autobiographical film about the upbringing of the most famous director of all time, Steven Spielberg. Now, Tom, do you agree that film has shaped you as a person, has shaped your personality and your interests and hobbies?
Yeah, I think film does.
And I think many people watching and listening could probably agree with that statement as well. You know, film in itself has shaped us as people, as humans. And it did so with Steven Spielberg as well. And it's perfectly represented in this film. It's a coming of age story. He finds his passion, his life story revolves around film. So what can be more relatable to the audience that are listening and watching now and to us than to watch Steven Spielberg, the greatest director of all time, grow up surrounded by this passion? Not only
Go on.
Not only this, but the film also talks about it really represents the fact that you're molded by your parents as well and your parents' relationships.
Yeah.
Now, it's semi-autobiographical because the main character in this is called Sammy, not Stephen. And his mother is a very creative soul.
I was quite curious about that. I was going to ask you about that. You might not know. If it's autobiographical, why did he not just call it... Why did he call it The Fablemans? And has he actually made a lot up?
It is. It's just, I guess it's just to pay respect to those areas of his life that are a little bit too personal, so he doesn't want to put names to these characters, the real names to these characters. But as I was saying, his mother is a very creative soul, and his father is a very technical person with not much creativity at all. So it's the amalgamation of the two and almost the fight between the two that shapes him as a person. And his mother actually goes through an affair in this movie, and he finds out this through his creation of film. He actually captures this on film, and that's when he realizes. And I love the fact that he's amalgamated his passion through film that is molded him as a person in his life and in his career. And it's interwoven with the story of his parents and this affair that has molded him as a person in his personal relationships. So what more of a coming of age story do you want from this?
Right, and I
yes, it might not be fun. Yes, it might not be adventurous, but it's real and it's relatable.
I see that. You say relatable, but in terms of the amount of people that can relate to a film, despite this being fictional, despite it being imaginative and adventurous, far more people can relate to this because it's about exploring your imagination in childhood. It's about having that sense of camaraderie with friends. It's about being together. It's about opposing something that seems like that seem like unsurmountable odds. The Fablemans, whilst it is an experience of Spielberg, and whilst it's autobiographical, it's for him, isn't it? He's made this film for himself. This is a film that's made for other people. So if we're thinking about relatability and reach, The Goonies has reached far more people and will be remembered or has had far more of an impact on people than this film will.
The Goonies,
this might be remembered in film history. The Goonies, maybe.
No. I'm not talking about
this film.
The
I
Goonies.
Think was generationally important.
No. It's not necessarily generationally important. The Goonies is entertaining. That's why it's so famous, because it's entertaining. The Fablemans
So the Fablemans is not entertaining.
No, as a coming of age story, it's not going to be as entertaining as an adventure movie, but as a coming of age story, it is far more relatable than the Goonies. There's not one iota of the story or plot within the Goonies that the audience can relate to. Okay,
no, but they can relate to laugh. Being kids. They can relate to being kids,
of course.
And the actors that they got to play these kids.
But that's all. That's just the surface. Just the surface
Sean
level.
Austin, Kihei Kwan, what's his name? Who plays Thanos? Plays the older brother as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The chemistry between them is fantastic. The dialogue is really well written.
Yeah, but other than that, at the surface level, friendship, fair enough. But the Fablemans goes deeper than that. It talks about marriage. It talks about looking up to parents, being molded by your parents, being molded by your passion as well. It's not. Yes, it's not talking about friendship, but friendship isn't the only thing that should be included or considered in a coming of age story.
So you have
it's a lot more than that.
So what is the thing that what are you saying then? He learns about how to be married, or he learns about marriage. He learns about
he learns how to balance his passion with his family, because his passion is the single most important thing.
He didn't actually learn that though, because he had an affair himself.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Sorry, Spielberg.
I know
you're watching.
But the fact that he did have an affair shows that his parents' behaviour, his mother, molded him quite well, in that way.
I just think it's difficult. These are two very different films, aren't they?
They are.
But if you take it at entertainment value and learning about friendship and joy and perseverance, I think this film is very impactful, and it does show, and it is a film about growing up, because we all have to grow up, Sean.
And this takes you through the eras. It takes you from a small child to a young adult getting his first job.
I'm going to find that on the podcast the other day, we were talking about Spielberg's new film and about how he's going to go on that Alien, and you said that his recent films have not been impactful. Yeah. They've not been as good or even well crafted.
But this film was a shining light within that pile of shite.
So you're calling him a shit director?
No, I'm not. That's obviously an over exaggeration. But this film was almost, and people agree, everyone listening and everyone watching, and all the reviews say that this film was a good comeback from Steven Spielberg.
The Goonies was so popular. I'm actually shocked that they didn't or haven't tried to make a sequel to it.
Yeah, I mean, a sequel's been in the works for like 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think they will, and I'm glad they don't, because
I think they will.
If you have them come back as adults,
and
do the same kind of adventure, I don't think you'd capture the same magic, because it's about being kids, isn't it? Yeah, I think you have to have a group of kids together in a effective growing up film, because they all have their different experiences about what it's like to grow up, and we all get to that age or stage, don't we, where we lose our innocence or lose that sense of innocence, and that's completely what this captures, the sense.
When do they lose their innocence in this?
No, but this film, it's about capturing it one last time, isn't it? It's about, if you could bottle the essence of childhood and joy and friendship, that's what the film is.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit
cartoony. So it's almost the opposite to coming of age, because it's trying to latch onto that.
I think it's one last hurrah before you lose that sense of innocence, isn't it?
But they never lose that sense of innocence in the end of the film. So did they ever come of age?
I think the audience knows that
they will eventually, in a sequel.
It's their last one.
But they are completely different movies. I think you could argue to the ends of the earth, because they are so different in their approach.
Do you think The Goonies is a better film?
Again, that question is so weird when comparing it to the Fablemans, because they are completely different movies.
Yeah.
Yes, they're coming of age movies, both of them, but they're done and tackled in such a weird way. the Fablemans is done through it centers more around story, whereas the Goonies is more spectacle.
Yeah. Let us know what you think, guys. Do you prefer the Goonies or the Fablemans, or do you have another growing of age? God, coming of age. Coming of age. Do you have another coming of age
or growing of age?
Coming of age story. I almost picked The Breakfast Club, but the thing that annoys me about The Breakfast Club is that she's kind of. Do you know the main girl that comes out at the end and she's got like her makeup and hair done?
Yeah,
it's not teaching you a moral lesson of be yourself. It's like conform to society's expectations of you.
I guess
to a little bit, to a bit of it.
Yeah, don't be yourself. Do this, and you'll get the guy.
Yeah. Right, we've been going on. It's been a long podcast.
It's been an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. So thank you for listening.
Thanks for the questions as well, guys. Yeah, if you've got any questions, drop them on this video.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow and download all the podcasts, past podcasts and future podcast episodes on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Go onto our Patreon page, link in the description below, where we'll be posting exclusive content on there very soon and early access to our podcasts. But other than that, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Episode.